You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it.
The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together. Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Bulldog, sitting with my buddy, Kev Huggin Duggan.
We're all back together again.
Finally, one big happy family, because we got Kyle the Coach Duggan.
Kevin's singing a different tune from last week when I was apparently Dumbo missed the episode last week.
Drop the O.
Why are you being all kind all of a sudden now?
No, it's all in fun. I was posturing a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe you're kind of changing my mind. Maybe you should bail.
Dumbo it out of here. Yeah.
Boy.
Dumbo,
slap on out of here.
Slap on out of here.
All right. Well, folks, obviously lots to talk about. There was a game, I guess, this last Sunday.
Oh, there was?
I kind of missed it, but there's been some news on some Charger coaching hiring. We've got a fan focus, a Bolt beat, and an Ask Boltfam lined up. But first and foremost, let's start it up at the top. Finally, folks, at long last, this comes from Nick Cothrell, but everybody Charger related has talked about it. Former Chargers head coach Don Coryell has been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So freaking
Finally.
I just remember so many years where there was just like he's nominated. He could get in. I feel like it was like 25, 30 years of this.
Yeah.
Something insane.
It really is. Deion Sanders, I saw an interview with him because he was kind of bashing on the Hall of Fame and you kind of just let everyone in now. And his definition, and they asked him, okay, well, then who should be allowed in? And he said, if you change the game, you should be in the Hall of Fame. If your play on the field or your coaching changed the game of football, then you should be in the Hall of Fame. Don, that's the definition of Don Air Coryell. Like he defined an offensive scheme. So how is he not instantly in the Hall of Fame? Like how on earth did it take this long?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
like you hear young guys like Kellen Moore talking about how he takes bits of the Air Coryell offense into his scheme. It's like he's still present. Like he's like legitimate in the NFL circles of how they call
still
plays.
Valid. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. I'm just glad it finally happened.
Yeah. It finally happened. They finally came to their senses and brought the man in. Let's see. Dean Spano said Don Coryell has had a tremendous influence on the game we know and love today. Whether it was through the coaches he mentored, the players he taught and led, the offenses he orchestrated, or the defenses that were created to stop his offenses, today's NFL is a direct reflection of Don's mind and imagination. While it's obviously been a long time coming, we're grateful that his family, as well as the players he meant so much to, are now officially able to welcome him to his rightful place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and celebrate his legacy.
Hell yeah.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Holy
So
shit.
good.
Where's the Tylenol?
I know. Finally.
All right. Well, with the game neatly in the books, the season is done.
Done.
Guess what we are with the
We're
rest of
0-0,
all the other
baby.
teams.
Everyone's 0-0.
Let's go.
Yes. And apparently they're already putting out odds to win the Super Bowl for next year. Right now, Chiefs are at the top. Bills, Eagles, 49ers, Bengals, Cowboys, Chargers.
This sounds like something we might have to put a little money on when we go to Vegas, Kyle. This feels like
plus 2,500. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to toss our
Easy bet.
last year's little ticket.
Throw that ticket.
Don't need
Throw
that
ticket
around
away.
anymore.
Yeah.
No.
So we'll start over.
Good time to start over. Yes, Chargers already getting in for odds to win the freaking Super Bowl. I like it. Love to see it. We'll have to see what the offseason and the draft brings. But during the offseason, we got to fill a linebacker coach position. And per Jake Trotter, Chargers hiring Jeff Howard to coach linebackers. Per source, former defensive back assistant also had an offer from Carolina, went with the Chargers. Jeff Howard has been the passing game coordinator / defensive backs coach for the Cleveland Browns since 2022. prior to this role, he started with the Browns as the team's defensive pass game coordinator, defensive backs coach in 2020. So it's interesting that he's both the defensive backs coach and the passing game coordinator, wearing a hat for both offense and defense. Do you think that's a common opportunity for one guy to wear two hats, or is that a strange and unusual situation?
Similar to what Coach Staley did, right? Playing as a quarterback and then jumping to the defensive side of the ball. You see things a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
There's some versatility. He took, it seems like when he made that switch, that was I just need a job and I'm willing to go do whatever you want me to do. You know,
He's like, do I get two paychecks this way? Is that possible? Okay.
Nice. Yeah, he's like, is there a little raise being the passing game coordinator? Sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's looking at, we looked up his Wikipedia. It looks like he started coaching after his playing days at Eastern New Mexico.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, he went and coached at the Friday Night Lights High School, Odessa Permian in
really?
Texas.
Hey.
So if he brings some of that Friday Night Lights mojo with him, come on,
let's go.
It's gotta be a good thing.
Hey, these linebackers will know how to drop into coverage if his pedigree is saying anything. So that's DBs. Looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, he's apparently worn many hats during his coaching tenure. He was assistant to the head coach in 2013 with the Vikings, then moved to defensive assistant coach, did that for 4 years, and then went to assistant defensive backs coach / defensive assistant coach. So he added a paycheck there with the Vikings. Same for 2019. And then in 2020, went to the Cleveland Browns, was the defensive pass game coordinator and the so it's defensive pass game coordinator.
Right.
Well, for 2 years, then the last year
and
he
then
was
went to
offense
passing game
and
coordinator.
defense.
This guy can't pick a role. He's just taking whatever
Jack
he's
of
given,
all
I
trades,
guess.
master of none. I hope that's not the case.
It feels like a weird kind of outside of any normal tree hire, right? There's no crossover with anybody that we know of. He wasn't a part of a Bears or a Broncos or a Rams coaching staff. So seems like a guy that must be talked of really well in circles, and Chargers went and tried to pick up a young guy that's on the rise.
Yeah, I saw that Tom Pelissero tweeted that the Browns were like a top 5 pass defense for the past 2 seasons. So as the passing game coordinator / defensive backs coach, got to give him at least a little bit of credit there, right?
Yeah, and for him, it's a cool opportunity to come and learn from a young head coach, defensive coordinator that has had success. I know not as much as the Chargers would have liked, but that's a unique hire opportunity for him to come and work in LA under Coach Staley.
Yeah, this is one of those weird ones. It's kind of like when we got our special teams coach last year.
Yeah,
just kind of like okay, cool.
Right,
and then look how that worked out.
Right. So as it stands right now, we still haven't hired a quarterbacks coach, right? Or am I misremembering?
No,
okay.
They interviewed a guy from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Last week.
We don't need to do that. That's fine.
Yeah. But I saw that Pep Hamilton was let go from the Texans. So there's all the chatter of, do we bring Pep back? And it's just like, can we just get our coaching staff done? Just hire the guys that we need to hire.
Yeah.
This speculation is worse than the draft.
A lot of speculation going around, and understandably so. Where there's positions that need to be filled.
Yep.
And the season's over. We're done. Football doesn't start back up again until what, September? If we're lucky.
We got the draft here in a couple months. It's
NFL starting here pretty soon.
Yeah, and the USFL. There's gonna be some weird football going on.
Weird football happening.
Weird football. Hey, you can keep an eye on them. Those guys are, I'm sure NFL teams are watching those games and seeing what those players are doing. So.
Donald Parham came from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Storm Norton. We're not afraid to. I'm just saying, we're not afraid to look at it. I'm just saying. You might also not be afraid to look over at our Patreon, patreon.com/ChargerChat. Check out some of the funny videos we've got over there. And we've got some new patrons to shout out. 3, count them: Kate Ridge, Agent L, and Joseph Welsh.
Welcome to the party, pals.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome. And we can't thank you enough for joining up. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for this offseason, and can't wait to show all of you what we've got lined up But if you don't want to go to patreon.com, that's A-OK. You can go on over to our regular website, chargerchat.com. Check out all the cool stuff we got over there, t-shirts, hoodies, and stickers. You can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers in our members section and ask questions in Ask Boltfam. So go check out chargerchat.com. All right, time to go on to the next segment, Fan Focus. Let's go to the room.
Let's go to there.
For Fan Focus.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go. All right, guys, we are back with another Fan Focus, and we are super lucky to have Kat from Las Vegas. What's going on, Kat?
Hey, thank you so much. I feel like I'm already checking off boxes for my goals of 2023 because I really wanted to be on Fan Focus with you guys.
Well, it's our pleasure, and we were talking about it on the Patreon hangout, and you're like, "How do I get on there?" I'm like, "Let's schedule it now. You're so awesome. Let's talk Chargers."
Thank you. Yeah,
we're glad you could join us. So let's kick this bad boy off the way we do all the other ones. How did you become a Charger fan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an easy story. I was born in San Diego, so Sharp Hospital, for those who...
Nice. That's where Kyle was born. Kyle was born in Sharp.
I was born in Sharp Hospital. So, my dad pretty much was, you know, like it was not even an option to be not a Chargers fan. So grew up like going to, not really going to games, but my dad went to like USD, San Diego State. Both my parents went to USD, and then my grandparents lived on Coronado. So we were just like diehard San Diego. And so I've it's just like, didn't have an option. Probably.
Yeah, it was the stars were aligned for you
from the family if I wasn't a Chargers fan.
You'd be disowned if you weren't a Chargers fan.
Exactly.
So, that's awesome. Well, I see the flag behind you. You're a diehard Bolt Club member in Las Vegas. So tell us about, you know, the diehard Bolt Club and you being, you know, in the chapter out there and all the stuff you guys are doing.
Yeah, I was like super stoked to find, I just joined like this last season.
Awesome.
And I got my patch and I got my flag. The guys here are so cool. You've interviewed a couple of our club members, and it was just, you know, it was that little piece of like camaraderie you're looking for. I had been in Vegas for a while, and you just didn't have. There was a couple of spots where you could go watch the games and stuff, but you kind of didn't have. And that was before the Raiders were here, and you didn't really have a place to go, you know, just watch with other Chargers fans. So I just kind of found myself like the lone Charger fan in a bar or something. And then so I found our chapter here in Vegas. Just this. Like it was actually the summer of last year, and then kind of went to all the things and got to know the guys, and it's just so cool. Like I'm so stoked. Our chapter has kind of grown this year too, so it's just been really cool. We've done some like community outreach things. We've done different things that I've been able to be a part of. We hosted when the Chargers played the Raiders. So, you know, unfortunately we lost that game, but Thunder Alley came out and stuff. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
I'm like, so stoked.
That's awesome. So then tell me a little bit about, you know, like being around, because I am around Chiefs fans all the time, and I can't even tell you how rough this morning was driving around.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing their shit. Happy for them. Good. They want it. I don't want to see it anymore. Everyone's 0-0 moving on from today. So
honestly, I couldn't even watch the game.
Yeah.
Like I told my dad, I'm like, hey, text me when the halftime show, I wanted to see Rihanna.
Yeah.
So I was like, text me. I really couldn't watch. It was too, and then, and like here in Vegas, you know, obviously it's kind of easy to do the bets. And I will say that like, I always like would put the prop bets for every Super Bowl. Those are kind of the ones where you can bet on the coin toss, or you can bet on like who's like got the first like interception or something like that. And I just found I found myself being like, the trend was anti-Chiefs. And I'm like, I'm too emotional here. I was like, I'm not going to bet on these, like, you know, and usually that makes it a little more interesting to watch all the prop bets like unfold if your team's not in the game. But I chose this one. I couldn't watch. It's rough. Like I mentioned in the Zoom call, like right now the Raiders suck. So there's not a whole lot of like, you know, the like, you know, all the displays and everything aren't in your face, you know, but I imagine if they were to do well, or whatever. I'm sure we see them around town, like the license plates. Everyone's got a Raiders license plate. Yeah.
Well, like I'm curious too, because like a lot of those, like the Raider fans, are they just like brand new fans? It doesn't seem like there's that diehard of a culture out there for Raider fans.
Yeah, I would kind of agree, and I feel like my personal opinion is that the casinos and whatnot give away the tickets to the games. So that happened actually with the Golden Knights. They went when the Golden Knights. Love them, all day long. I'm a Knights fan, but when they hit the Stanley Cup, they played the Caps, and you just saw like the stands were overrun with Caps fans, because I really feel like this is a transient town and it's a visitors town. So I feel like, I don't know, Raiders, like Raider Nation might be challenged a little bit. Because I feel like the tickets are given away. They're there to accommodate who's ever coming to town. And so they don't quite have their solid nation in the stands per se for the big games. We'll see. Yeah.
It'll be interesting next year when you get like teams like the Packers and like they like circle, if, they're playing. I don't know if they're playing in Vegas or not, but like, all those Packer fans are saving up. Like, we're going to go to Vegas and we're going to overrun that stadium.
Goes nuts. I mean, the town just gets like, you feel it, where the town is very full and traffic is hard, and locals usually stay away from the strip. That's kind of, ingrained in us.
Sure.
But you start feeling it in the outer streets and whatnot. You just feel like the traffic is big when the big teams come to town. So We'll see. We'll see how Raider Nation holds up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they keep going the way they're going. And tell me a little. We talked a little bit before we got started, and your business that you work with and work at. You guys do some interesting things for around Vegas, and you've kind of come across maybe some Raiders in some weird way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I own a moving company, a small business,
Awesome.
Women owned. Yeah. So, and we've gotten to, like, just this last year, we moved Derek Carr's in-laws.
Okay.
I told the crew, you got to show up with eyeliner.
I wonder if that whole family is just walking around. They all have eyeliner,
just like eyeliner, and like we'll see, And then we moved the residents that were moving out of the home that Devontae Adams bought to moving here. So I was like, oh, good. So we got his address. So if we want to like TP, let's go,
leave an upper decker before he moves in, that kind of thing.
So I was like, all right, so we see a little bit of that.
That's cool.
And we'll see it around town. Never really personally run into any of them, but that's where
that's probably a good thing. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, let's
all my employees though are Raiders fans, so I'm always getting like, they put the hurt on me. Like when a couple like last season when they won when they won that game, I was
unbearable.
Just like, oh Lord, yeah,
they're unbearable. Well, let's talk a little bit Charger football. It's been kind of it didn't end the way we wanted it, obviously. But exciting things are happening. We just picked up Kellen Moore. Seems like everything's going in the right direction. So what are you most looking forward to, this upcoming like off season and, going into the season?
Yeah. I mean, I'm super obviously, you see that around on Instagram, the script,
Yeah.
Like the script that, if the Chargers were to get to the Super Bowl and it's here in Vegas, of course, that'd be so monumental, but I like the Kellen Moore pickup, I guess you could call it, because it kind of came out of nowhere, and no one really saw it coming. I do have in my family a couple of Cowboys fans, so they kind of knew what we picked up with that.
Were they sad that they lost him? They were. That's yes. You want to hear that?
Where they're just like,
Shit.
they felt a little blow there. So we'll see how that plays out. So I'm excited for that. Like we kind of talked about, I think that in the Zoom call that I just think that you guys kind of mentioned like it would probably be someone young, and I feel like it seems like I watched the Chargers put it out Kellen Moore was like breaking down a couple of the calls or the plays. And that was pretty cool. Like he brought to my attention some of the stuff Justin Herbert does, like where his legs are moving one way and his vision and like what he sees moves a different way. And it's just how he was picking it up and able to like articulate for us as the viewer to see it as well. It was really cool. Like, I don't know. I'm stoked to see what happens with him. So
that's awesome.
And everyone's young. So
yeah, it's definitely a young coaching staff. Yeah, it's exciting to see what he's going to do to this offense. I just feel like there's only upward trajectory for our offense. So exciting what he's going to do for us.
Full on agree. Like, I mean, I don't know. And then you got the draft and we'll see. I talked to my dad a little bit about it. I'm personally in the pit. Let's get a tight end. That's where I stand on the draft. So hopefully I hear the talk of like speedy wide receivers. But
sure.
I just think that with the tight end, you have like multiple weapons. So if you can get a tight end that can bring a lot to the table, then you kind of get a twofer.
Yeah. You can't. It's the same thing like having Eckler. You don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to stay in a block? Are they going to go out? That's. I'm fully on the same page with you. Hopefully one of those studs is there, because last time we had a stud tight end was Hunter Henry, and he's gone now, and we're just kind of like shuffling around guys that are like moving around. So it'd be nice to have our own first or early second round pick we could trade up. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I feel like that's like, those are, that's what I'm looking forward to. We kind of talked about it too, just if we get an international game, I'd be stoked next season to get to an, I've been to London. I have been to a London game. So I would love to go if they went to Germany.
Done.
So amazing.
You got to refinance the house if that's going down. I am going to be there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about, the obvious things, Justin, and all that. So yeah, I'm on the same page with you. And then let's get you out of here on this, your favorite Charger memory, like the one thing that kind of stands out to you.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you with two.
Let's go.
Memories. And I don't know that they're the most positive, but they definitely just stood out as me kind of like earning my stripes for as being a Chargers fan. And I'm kind of dating myself. But the first one would be where I looked up the game, and it was in 2010 where we played Kansas City at Kansas City. So it was at Arrowhead, and we shut them out. It was 31. It was 2010. So it was 31-0. And which is like,
I'd take some more of that.
Yeah. And so I have pictures too. I was in like full on rain poncho. We were fully rained out. Kansas City, the Arrowhead, you've been there. It's kind of an older stadium. So it was flooded. You're just like sitting in puddles, and our seats were on the Chargers side, the bench. And so by the end of the game, all the Kansas City fans had cleared out. The game was like, we had basically won. But I was able to go down right there up against, the seats. And then I see like Nate Kading kind of like messing around, like practicing or whatever he was going to do.
Uh-huh.
And, all of the the resentments and everything came up inside of me, where I just started telling Nate Kading like what I thought of him.
Oh no.
So I hate to say it, but I just kind of like told Nate Kading. It was like, I felt like, I kind of like, I got to like have my therapy with like the dude who tormented me.
Get it out.
So I was like, I'm on Nate Kading. Like, I was just yelling, and he kind of looked up at me, and he totally looked like he saw me talking to him. So that to me was cathartic. I was able to get it out, and just because I'd seen him miss like so many. Oh my God, it was so terrible. Like watching that dude was like the curse of the kicker. Like it was. And so there was that, and then the other one was just I did go to after. It was after the Patriots beat us in the playoffs, and then I don't know if you remember, but they kind of like disrespected.
Yeah, they did the lights out dance
or whatever.
They did the lights out on the logo. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so the following year, that was the season they went undefeated except for the Super Bowl. And that year, their season opener was against the Chargers. And so I got tickets, went out to New England. For some reason, they were starting out like a new train system. So when you took the train into Gillette, it was a double-decker car, and I guess it wasn't working right. So it stopped, and you had to like literally jump off the train and like walk through the woods to like get to Gillette. And yeah, so it was crazy. So we all had to kind of like jump off, and we're all in Chargers gear. And then we go, their fans were horrific. They were so despicable, like like one of the worst fan experiences I've had, Boston, or whatever. And then, but then, so they won that game. And then we had to get back on the train to get home. And we were just like cattle cart in, like literally everyone's like, and we're all in our Chargers gear. And at that point they had won. And I just kind of take that as like, you know, me like getting my like lumps, taking my lumps as a Charger fan and like being in the trenches. Yeah. And yeah, I'll definitely say that was rough because they were just all around us, just, you know, talking shit. And it was like, oh my gosh, like this is so hard, you know? And like, and we're just stuck on this train. And one of the radio broadcasters on one of the sports networks like talked about it the next day, like, or my dad's like, yeah, he was saying he was there. You guys were like stuck on the train. And I'm like, yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so that was rough, but whatever, we represented.
I love it. Well, and there's something about being a fan in an away game where you're kind of have to, if you haven't done it, you need to experience it. Cause I feel like it made me a more hardcore Charger fan being out here. Yeah. It kind of makes you harder. You know what I mean? It like adds like a shield or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it gets you like, you know, fired up for your team, you know? Yeah. Sure. Like where they're like your kid brother or something. And you're like, nah, like only I can talk shit on that.
Exactly.
Like only I can talk shit about the Chargers. You can't. But yeah. Yeah.
I think it makes me defend him like no matter what.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's changed in me a little bit. Like even other Charger fans talking like crazy shit about the team. I'm like, well, I have to defend them because I know you don't live here and you're not a Chief fan, but what the cut it out.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to tell you guys, like, I love what you guys do. I feel like as soon as our bandwagon shows up, you guys are going to explode. Like, you're really doing it right. Like, you've completely like turned me into like just being more positive and like, you know, and I wanted to like give a shout out to Craig, like the segment with Craig, like, oh my God, like he reminds me of my dad because he's always like super realistic about everything. Yeah. And I'm just like, but he gives it to us straight. And he, you know, Craig is great. You know, the Bolt beat, Jason, like he's like these guys, my crew, they always are trying to place bets. And I'm like, hey, this dude's putting this down, you know, for the Chargers. He's got that like, you know, inside scoop and they're always using that. You guys are just like brisket broads. Love you guys, you know, like
yeah,
I just wanted to give the love, you know, I love you guys.
No, we really appreciate it, Kat. Yeah, and we appreciate you, like, you know, being a part of our Patreon, like getting to hang out with you in that setting was so fun. And it means a lot to us. That's why we do it. Yeah. We just want to make friends and talk Chargers and be good vibes. That's the whole goal.
Yeah. All day.
Well, thank you so much, Kat. It was so awesome being able to do this and getting to hear a little bit more about your story and good luck with the bid you have about working in the next Super Bowl. Pulling for you. So we're excited. Keep us updated on that. We want to know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Kat. And don't be a stranger. Let's keep in touch.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Well, that was just lovely.
I love
Kat.
I love
Thank
Kat.
you
Kat's the
so
best.
much. Thank you so much for the kind words. I mean, that absolutely makes our day hearing stuff like that. And who knew that you and Kat had something in common there, Kyle, born in the same hospital.
Look at you. Look at us.
Pretty big deal. Look at us.
Pretty big. Look at us. Kind of some big deals came out of the Sharp Hospital. Yeah, she was so cool. And like, just, you know, another diehard Bowl Club member. It's like, I can't tell you enough. Like, I've met so many cool people in the Charger community that are in the diehard Bowl Club. So if you thought about it, you should definitely look into it because they're just awesome people like Kat. So
yeah.
Being born into Charger fandom, I was last night after the Super Bowl, I was just holding my youngest, Teddy. He's only 7 months old, and I'm just like, buddy, like you just don't get a say. Like it sucks for you. Like you just don't. You'll never in your life get a choice of what football team that you're gonna root for.
Right.
And I'm just looking at it like we've never won a Super Bowl. We've been to one. It's like just kind of like it's awesome for you because we're the best team in the NFL. But it also it's like. Sucks that you just don't get a say, little man. I'm sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
That's too freaking funny. Well, Kat, like Kev said, please don't be a stranger. Can't wait to hear if you're going to be working in the freaking Super Bowl. That'd be
sick.
Awesome.
We'll see you at the next Patreon hangout because those are awesome. And yeah,
most definitely. Yes. All right. Well, time to go on to the next segment. As she mentioned, this guy gives out some good bets, but there's nothing to bet on now. So who knows what he's going to talk about? Yeah. Time for the Bolt Beat.
Welcome back to another edition of The Bolt Beat. As always, I am your host, Jason Reed, the acting editor over at boltbeat.com. Go check us out or follow us on Twitter at BB_Chargers. You could see us get roasted by Melvin Gordon, unfortunately. You can follow myself on Twitter at Eat Your Reedies, doing a little bit of a personal Twitter plunge for the next 6 weeks. It's a new trend I've been doing from Super Bowl to opening day for baseball. No personal Twitter, only using it for work. I highly recommend it because, as you all know, social media can be a little bit toxic at times. But one thing that is not toxic is right here at the Charger Chat podcast. We are always talking positivity. We're always looking at the team, how it can improve, all these things about the team. And today, I wanted to touch on the Chargers 2023 NFL draft. Not necessarily needs, but maybe a overall philosophy the team should take in the draft, as well as some prospects. You know, I've just now started my work with the draft board, some prospects I like in this draft in the first round. As far as the overall philosophies, I think the Chargers can learn a lot from the final 4 teams that were in the running for the Super Bowl, and the final 2 teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles. And that is the desire, not the desire, but the trend of drafting pass rushers, outside rushers, defensive end, outside linebackers, whatever it is, whether you're in a 4-3 or a 3-4. These 4 teams have some of the best pass rushing in the league. You could argue that those 4 teams that were remaining had the 4 best pass rushes in the entire league. And it's not an accident. The pass rush, your defensive front, your ability to get to the quarterback is probably the second most important thing in the league to winning a Super Bowl behind the quarterback position. And that is because it is the one thing that can help stop an elite quarterback. And yes, the Chargers have Joey Bosa. They have Khalil Mack, but they also had to rely on a late season surge from Kyle Van Noy to keep the pass rush alive when Joey Bosa was hurt. Now, it was great seeing that, and it really helped the Chargers, but that is not a long-term philosophy approach that's going to lead to a deep, successful pass rush. And there's a reason we've seen the Chargers struggle at times. There's a reason they struggled when Melvin Ingram left. There was a reason they struggled when Joey Bosa was injured last year. They haven't been able to build the depth, and it starts at the NFL draft. You know, they've been great at drafting the offensive side of the trenches. That's something that they didn't do before. You know, DJ Fluker was the only offensive lineman drafted in the first round up until Rashawn Slater in 2020. And that has flipped in these last few years. Now I'd like to see it flip with the defensive side of the ball. If we go back since the 2016 NFL draft, since then, the 5 drafts, that was the year they picked Joey Bosa. The Chargers have selected 2 edge rushers. And not just in the first round, not the first 2 rounds, not the first 3 rounds, 2 in all of the 30 plus picks that they've had. They've drafted Chris Rumph, who is still a work in progress. We don't even know how good he's going to be. He's shown flashes, but there's no guarantees there. And Uchenna Nwosu, who took some time to develop, didn't really play behind Melvin Ingram in the first 3 years, and then really broke out in his 4th year, got a new deal, was great for the Seattle Seahawks last year. That's a problem. You can't draft only 2 edge rushers in a 5-year span. Not all of the edge rushers are going to hit, but you give yourself more opportunities the more you draft. Look at the Eagles. They have drafted an edge rusher every single draft since the 2012 NFL draft, I believe. Howie Roseman's first was 2010 or 2011. The 2011 NFL draft was the only one they didn't draft an edge rusher, and they drafted like 3 linebackers, some of which I think they had intents on playing on the outside. They didn't work out. So they have committed to drafting to address the pass rush. Not all the picks worked out. Sometimes you got to go get a Hassan Reddick on the free agent market, but you give yourself more opportunities to build this deep room. And even if you don't land a blue chip or insane prospect, you land a rotational guy who can help out when Joey Bosa's hurt or when they need to have, a rest during the games or whatever the case may be. It's something the Chargers have never prioritized under Tom Telesco, and it's a problem. Even the Chiefs have a great pass rush. They've been drafting both either defensive tackle or defensive end I believe each of the last 3 years, they had like a 1 year break, and then it was like 5 or 6 years after that consecutively. The Chargers just haven't done that. They haven't emphasized the trenches. And, yes, they have, like I said, Mack and Bosa, but I would like to see an early round edge rusher in this year's draft class. I know it might not seem like the most intriguing thing if they go with an edge rusher in the first round because they might not play that much in year one, but you have to have the long-term point of view, the long-term picture when you're considering these picks. Khalil Mack probably only has one more year with the Chargers. He was great last year. He played at a high level, but he's going to be 34 this year, 35 this year. He has a massive dead cap, or not dead cap, but they can free up a lot of cap both this year and next year if they were to get rid of him. They're not going to get rid of him this year, but if they cut him next year, I think it's like 22, 24 million, they could free up against the cap for the 2024 season. That feels like what they're going to do, just based on his age and the way he's going. And if that's the long-term plan, you have to draft his predecessor before you get rid of him. You can't get rid of Mack and then hope you land a first-round guy next year. A, we don't know what the prospects are going to look like next year. Yes, there's always an early idea, but so much can happen. Let's be honest. B, you don't know where you're going to fall in the draft. And C, like that's taking a gamble. You're getting a raw rookie in year one in 2024, or you can get a first rounder this year, have him be a rotational guy, give yourself some flexibility where Mack or Bosa can even play on the inside in pass rushing situations on third down, which is very intriguing. Get that rookie some rotational reps. His responsibilities aren't huge as a rookie. And then boom, year two, he's ready to start full-time alongside Bosa. And you're building up this room from the ground up. You're not relying on a Khalil Mack trade when he's 33 years old. I still like the trade. I would still do the trade again. But it is an issue when that is the move you have to make to get a good second edge rusher. It's a problem, excuse me. So I'd like to see the Chargers target edge rusher, preferably in the first 3 rounds, maybe even in the first round, depending how the first round falls. I wrote an article over on boltbeat.com. Go check it out. I'm kind of spoiling it here anyways, but it was the best prospect at each potential first round need. And if they're going edge rusher, I really like Nolan Smith. He's right in the range where the Chargers are going to fall. He's the perfect type of prospect where you can see the raw athleticism, the ability. He's got that ceiling to him, and the Chargers are a great spot for him because he can kind of not learn on he's not forced to learn on the fly. He can learn from two of the greats. He can have a more rotational role, really iron out the kinks. And then by the time, his second, third year in the league, he's a guy who is good against both the run and the pass and can be an every down option. So I really like him on the edge, and that's a name I'd keep an eye out for. The other positions in need that the Chargers could draft, I have tackle in there. I like Antoine Harrison. I think it's Anton Harrison. I think he's probably the best tackle that could fall to 21. Tackle is not really the most exciting thing going offensive line 3 years in a row, but it could be a need. If Trey Pipkins gets priced out of the Chargers this offseason because of his great season, they're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to go on the fly. And that's either drafting a tackle in round 1 or maybe playing Sawyer at right tackle and then drafting a guard to replace Matt Filer at left guard later in the draft. You could find a quality starting guard in rounds 3 and 4 easier than you can a tackle in rounds 3 and 4. So that could be the route they go. But if they go tackle, I like Harrison. Receiver, I like Zay Flowers. I know Jalen Hyatt's the big name right now because he's the quickest guy in this draft class and he's incredible. And, his route tree is a little bit limited, but I also think that's a little bit overblown. And he's just going to climb and climb and climb as we go through this draft process and the combine and everything. But I like Zay Flowers. I think just both from a short-term and a long-term perspective, he makes the most sense. In the short term, he's almost like a very, very rich man's DeAndre Carter and Elon Musk's DeAndre Carter. He can kind of fit into that role. I don't know if he's probably not returning kicks or anything. They're not going to throw that at him, but that role in the offense, he can kind of take on that Carter role where he's wide receiver 4, sometimes wide receiver 3. Josh Palmer's out, someone's hurt, someone's always going to be hurt. And he can kind of have that lesser role, use his ability to make guys miss once he has the ball in his hand, use his yak ability, kind of utilize him there. And then once we talk about, potentially Allen leaving in 2024, if they go that direction, then he could kind of blossom more into the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 role, while having a lesser role in year 1 while still being impactful. So that's what I really like about him. He could play both on the inside and the outside. He's a little undersized, but he's quick as hell, can make guys miss. And I just think it's the perfect situation on the Chargers, again, for him to have not as much on his plate rookie year and kind of grow into this role. And he's not easily replaceable, but he's replacing someone in the offense who you could squint and be like, okay, I could see how Flowers replaces Carter and how he could be a much better version of what Carter offered. Carter obviously wasn't supposed to play as big of a role, but that's neither here nor there. And then tight end, dove into a lot of tight end tape this weekend on Saturday. A lot of Michael Mayer tape, a lot of Dalton Kincaid tape. And I decided I like Dalton Kincaid more than Michael Mayer. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people want Mayer on the Chargers, the Notre Dame tight end. And I get it. Look, when you look at his tape, he pretty much does it all. You know, he's a vertical option. He's a passing threat. He lined up at receiver, at tight end. He lined up on the line. He lined up in scat back, I believe it's called. Excuse me if I got that wrong. I don't think it's scat back. Like the fullback when he's back there. Football terminology right now is jumbled in my brain. He did it everything. You know, he's a great blocker. He has sure hands. You know, he has a good catch radius. I get it. But I kind of like Dalton Kincaid a little bit more. I think Mayer has a higher ceiling as a blocker, especially as an inline blocker and heavy packages when you need him to block on that offensive line. But I think Kincaid's getting a little underrated as a blocker. I still think for what the Chargers need him to do in the blocking department, he'll be fine. And as long as you have, you know, if Trey McKitty can turn it around, which last year was really bad for him, if you have that blocking tight end next to him, I think you can afford to have Kincaid kind of grow into that blocking role a little bit as his career develops. But as a passing threat, I just love Kincaid. Just, you know, we don't have any 40 times yet, obviously, but he looks a little bit quicker. He's faster off the line. He has a bigger catch radius, in my opinion. He's more of a vertical threat, contested catches, all those things. I just see more offensive potential with him as a pass catcher than Mayer. I think Mayer is going to be good. I think Mayer has the higher floor because even if he's not contributing in the passing game, he can have a big contribution with blocks, both running and pass blocking. But I think ceiling wise, I like Kincaid a little bit more, especially as he gets a little stronger, gets a little bigger in the NFL, puts on more weight, gets a little bit more technique. I think you can teach him to block close to how Mayer can block, but you're not going to be able to teach Mayer to have that same vertical catch radius that Kincaid has as a former high school basketball player. So that's kind of how I look at the two. If both are available at 21, who knows what direction the Chargers go? What they do with Gerald Everett's going to be a big deciding factor whether or not they even draft a tight end early in the draft. But I fell in love with Dalton Kincaid. I know Stephen Haglin is a Guilty as Charged podcast. We'll appreciate that, him being a Utah fan, of course. But that's all I got for you guys this week. I'll see you guys back in 2 weeks. We're going to start doing bi-weekly for the Bolt Beat. Hopefully there's some news, some positive news to report next time I'm recording. Hopefully a Keenan Allen decision. He's staying, hopefully. We might get some more clarity on who they're cutting. We know the obvious ones like Filer. But the offseason, you know, it's almost underway right now. Day of recording, February 13th. You know, we're almost to free agency. So it's exciting. I'm excited for the Chargers to be the offseason favorites. But next year, we're actually going to deliver on that hype. Until next time, let's get back to the Charger Chat, guys.
All right. Well, wow. What an absolute in-depth look at the possibility of an edge rusher. It is surprising to see that we've only drafted a couple since Bosa. But I mean, hey, who knows what this draft is going to bring as far as positions that we draft. Is it going to be in the first? I don't know. Like it'll be interesting to see, but what a great look at some of the edge rushers and tight ends. And there was another position. Oh, tackles, the tackle position. So
yeah, trenches,
all possibilities, all big possible potential positions of need.
And it was interesting him talking about the tight end position. Like he's into the Kincaid. But the reasons he said for the blocking aspect of it is why I like Michael Mayer even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those like either one's going to be really good. So we'll see what the Chargers do. I don't think a lot of the fan base would be thrilled with the first round tight end, but that's one of those unappreciated positions that when you have a good one, you see what they do in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. I after watching the Super Bowl, it's funny because those teams have good pass rushers, but it felt like no pass rush was initiated whatsoever on either team. Like,
apparently that field
Mahomes wasn't sacked, right?
Gave up no sacks.
Apparently the field was awful condition. Like the edge rushers were slipping everywhere.
But wouldn't the offensive line slip just as much? I think it's equal playing field. So in my mind, it's like get the best offensive line you could possibly get. You know, like it's more about defeating the other team's pass rush than necessarily loading up on your pass rush, because if your pass rush goes against a great offensive line like you do in the Super Bowl, then you're screwed because that's just completely eliminated. So I don't know. That is just such a weird balance, and what are you going to go after? And it really is. But after watching the game, I want the best interior defensive lineman and offensive lineman that you can find first round every single time. That's just, it is flashy. it has now finally become like the exciting pick to me. With when we draft,
you become in your old
linemen.
age. You're excited about
really,
offensive linemen.
It really has. Like he even said it. He was like, "Yeah, it's not the flashy pick, but like I don't care about flashy picks. That hasn't gotten us a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
right.
Give me the down and dirty guys up front that are just going to absolutely plow people." So that we can just run the ball, and then the play action deep balls to the guys we already got. I don't know. Give me all the offensive linemen, all of them.
Yeah. Totally. I'm with it.
And can I bring up one thing he said that really kind of pissed me off? Was
sure.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. You guys probably saw this too. Was the Melvin Gordon with Lombardi smoking a cigar and like
idiot.
rubbing it in? It was pretty clear where he was rubbing it in.
Practice squad, my guy.
Didn't play a snap.
What
didn't
idiot, dude.
Really contribute in any way, shape, or form.
He didn't even have a number assigned to him on the Chiefs roster. Like, you don't even have a number.
You don't walk around bragging that you won a Super Bowl when you didn't play in the game, bro.
No, you got cut by the Broncos.
And you were there for like a few weeks. You were there for the playoffs. Like, shut your mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so annoying, dude.
That's pretty embarrassing, to be honest.
He should be embarrassed. That's
first round pick, like leading the league in rushing, and then getting his going to the Broncos, getting cut. You're on the practice squad, and you're gonna post all over. So like, I would be out of there. I'd be like, all right, cool, yeah, good job, guys. See you later.
Let me see if I can go find a team I can actually play football for. Let's try that.
Oh God.
Well, knowing him, he probably fumbled the trophy right after taking the picture.
A good dented Chiefs Super Bowl trophy.
Just right out of his hands.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Well, Jason, thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for an awesome Bolt beat. And now it's time to go on to the next segment. Ask Bolt.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys. Go jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do. I wet myself in excitement.
Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are like totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
That's right, folks. Time for Ask Boltfam, and we started off with Mr. Pekar, who asked the question. Well, the NFL season has finally come to a close, and I know you're looking forward to all of the mock drafts. I personally am looking forward to the pre-combine and lopsided trade drafts where we get all their picks from them moving up one spot. Epic, right? Insert eye roll. But seriously, I got nothing. I just wanted to touch on what you guys and your Charger Chat teams are doing to bring us such great, shamelessly positive information. But more importantly, while keeping ish real, the content you guys put out this last year with all your segments were terrific. In fact, it has made me a bigger fan. In the words of Jack Nicholson, you make me want to be a better fan. Please keep up the killer content, but maybe not killer as in the Boy Scout patron style. You know what I'm saying? Question though, speaking of your awesome patron segment from the Boy Scout, which player do you think could benefit from the use of this play design? Doesn't have to be a Charger, even though it should never be used ever, even on a Raider. Family, trust, respect, bolt the fuck up, can't love you, bye.
I think it'd be harder for Melvin Gordon to fumble if he could shoot people.
Just gonna say him.
I know. That guy sucks so bad.
For those that don't know, Last Boy Scout opening scene.
Kyle had never seen it.
As involves football running back, actually, that pulls out a gun and shoots his way to get a touchdown. Didn't see it coming. It was pretty dark, but
didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, spoil. It's in the first 5 minutes.
It's not really a spoiler. Yeah.
So Mr. Pekar is asking who could benefit from that. I think if you give Melvin Gordon at least a BB gun or something like that, he might get a little extra few yards and maybe not fumble. I don't know. Maybe that will cause him to fumble ball. He's got one hand on the ball, one hand on the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. He needs all the hands he can get.
He needs all the hands.
Two hands. He still fumbles with two hands. But thank you for the kind words, man. We really appreciate it. Big time.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Pekar, thank you. We will go on to the next question. It is Kyle.
Good
asked
name.
the question. Yeah.
Maybe fresh.
We'll come back to you.
Well, I'll check.
For those that don't know, Kyle asked for Donald Duck, which I prolifically cannot do.
Previously stated.
I can't stress it enough.
So now no one knows your question.
And so now, nobody knows the question. So we could answer the question as if we asked it clearly, or I can clear the air. But Kyle asked, I would like to ask, was the Mahomes injury real or fake? Can we learn anything as a team from his fake-ass injury? Should Justin limp off the field after every play next season like Kermit the Frog in support of Andy Reid's hamburger habit? Okay, love you, bye.
Dude,
No,
I texted.
I freaking hate that guy.
I texted you. You said this on one of our previous episodes, and I didn't want to watch the game, so I was just watching things to like bitch about later. I was watching him, and at the end, right before halftime, he's like limping off the field. He's sitting on the bench, like holding his coach,
for sure,
just like leaning into him. And then they cut into this like security camera inside the tunnel when they're walking out.
He's fine,
perfectly walking. Nothing.
He's the worst.
Nothing was hindering him. He is the biggest L7 weenie.
It's just like I don't doubt that he's hurt. He is for sure hurt. He's choosing when to show the hurt in just like the most. It's just like I'm coaching T-ball.
Dramatic way.
Like I'm being taken back to my T-ball team. You know, it's like. You can't just be fine one play and then be hurt the next. Just be consistent. If you're going to limp the whole game. Don't like you get stopped on third down. So now you're going to limp off the field all dramatic. You know, it's like, suck it up if you're going to suck it up, or don't if you're not. It's just like, I hate that guy so much. I hate him so much. If just like I texted one of my friends, this person I know, not my friend, this person I know is a Chiefs fan.
Not my friend. Let's clarify that.
I was like, you have got to be embarrassed that he's your quarterback. I don't care how many Super Bowls he wins. I would be embarrassed anytime somebody else watched him play because he's such a baby, you know, like, oh my God, he's the worst.
And when I throw a football, I like to stick my tongue.
He's been doing too many TikTok dances with his brother. He's stuck now.
That guy sucks.
He's the worst.
Can't stand him.
And it's just like, I know Phil used to do it all the time, so it's easy now that I can flip it around, but like calling for penalties and like pointing and going excessively, like just annoying, dude. It's just so annoying.
He's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and now it's Patrick Mahomes, and he's just freaking worst.
Yeah. Can't stand him. Kyle, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to...
Also, no more Donald Duck requests.
I'm telling you, folks. Yeah.
Keep it coming.
Will Dog doesn't like it.
And he was certified fresh, by the way. Certified fresh.
Okay. But he listens because he did the Donald Duck on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because last episode, I loved it so
all right,
much.
You want it? Here it comes. All right. Well, let's move it on to the next question. Scrambles57, who asked the question. Do you think the NFL is rigged?
So there's something interesting I heard on, I can't remember where I heard it. It was on Twitter today, but they were talking about, I don't think there's like, it's rigged, but I think in officiating, there may be some biases.
100%.
Like there was somebody looked up something where, because you can see these referees, like where their alma mater is, like where they go, like what they've done in the past. And the guy that screwed over Joey with that penalty was a Michigan fan who... Michigan and Ohio State are not the closest of people.
No.
So like there is a built-in bias on some of this stuff. So I heard that. I thought that was interesting. I never looked at it before. Now I'm going to be doing some research on these referees and walking into these games with that in my mind. I don't want to be thinking that the referees are trying to us all the time, but there's something there, dude. There's biases.
They're people, right? And that's like what I think it always comes down to is like it looks rigged. But that's just because these people are going into it with the same assumption that you're going into the game with.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is going to have a good game and he's going to throw all these touchdowns. It's the end of the game. It's like, oh, crap, what's happening? That looks like a hold. Let me throw it. Like, it's not like they're being radioed in like, hey, it's time to make that big call now. It's just like a natural bias and tendency and error because it's a person with their own bias. I don't know.
Right.
There's just no way around that. That's why Tom Brady you touch him on the head, you're gonna get a penalty because he's Tom Brady. And it's not because they're specifically told to do it, but because they know he's the greatest of all time. So they're just going to do it. Right. And now Mahomes is starting to walk into that category. And now it's not going to get any better.
Right. No, you just want some consistency, especially after seeing like there are so many other sports out there that have great, let's check the cameras. And the fact that you can't review a penalty.
They should, I think,
that's a huge element of
each team should have
all of this.
Each team should have one ability to challenge a call. I think that should happen.
A judgment.
One judge. You can only get one. Yeah. You only get one a game. So you pick the right time, but you wait until the fourth quarter when somebody's out to you. That's going to make them accountable. It's going to really hold them accountable to this stuff because they're not getting called out in real time. These referees are not getting called out in real time. There may be a slap on the wrist in the back by the commissioner or something like that. But in real time, the fans I can't imagine what the Philly fans are feeling. I know how I feel when we play the Chiefs, and that shit happens to us all the time. It's like their MO is get a penalty, kick a field goal.
Taken away from us. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just their MO. So I would like to see, I think accountability in general in life is a good thing. Accountability on Twitter. When you say something stupid, you should be held accountable. When you make a bad call in a football game that's really important, you should be held accountable. So I want to see that change.
Absolutely. Well, we would all love to see that change, but I think just recently Roger Goodell came out and was like, "Hey, our officiating is great. I wouldn't change a thing." It was just like, okay,
idiot. Then
but that's the thing. That's the point. Is like if you got a commissioner that's saying everything is fine, and then you got a game like the Super Bowl where I'm sure there was holding that was probably happening the entire game, but the fact that you wait until the last 2 minutes of the game to call a holding penalty,
it's the same thing.
And one that was like. It was barely a grab. Like, I get it. Yes. Did he grab him? Sure. But was it like, I'm going to yank his jersey and pull him down to the ground and like, okay, well, now we got to call it.
That's been happening all game.
The whole game, yeah. So
that's what I'm saying.
Like when the Chargers played the Chiefs
with it.
And they called Derwin James on that hold on Travis Kelce at the end of the game when we stopped them on third down, it's game over. But they call the hold, they get the first down, and then they end up winning the game. It's like, it's just, I don't know. There's just no way around it. You can sit and bitch and moan about it. It's not going to change because maybe it is the best. Maybe the officiating is the best it's ever been, but it's always sucked. So it's like it's just
the best of the worst.
This is the best of the suck.
I mean, like think about 3 years ago when the Saints got absolutely annihilated out of the playoffs because of a terrible pass interference, no pass interference call. It's like it's always been bad. So it's not new. It's just always frustrating. And you would think with technology and reviewing plays and it would just get better. It would get way more better.
The sport is for fans, right? Yeah. Give the fans a little hope that something that is ridiculous can be reversed. Let us call penalties.
Was it a hold? Call now. 1-800-455.
You see that? It's like Monster Jam. They have an app. You get to vote for the best monster truck. It's like that. It's like, was that a hold? And then everyone submits their answer, and that's what you go with.
Yeah. I mean, consistency and being able to review penalties would change it immensely. Will it happen? No. So is the NFL rigged? Thank you so much, Scrambles 57,
and
for asking the question.
Certified fresh. I looked him up. He's certified fresh.
Let's move it on now to OM Run, who asked the question. Was the refs handing the Chiefs the win the most Chiefs thing ever? Like, what do you think it's like to know the refs will always make sure you win the big games? God.
Wish I could tell you. That'd be awesome if we knew that.
Right?
Because if this were happening to us, we'd be like, we won that fair and square.
For sure.
It was the best call all game.
That was it was clearly a penalty.
Call.
Clearly,
finally they called it.
Yeah. You finally got it right. So it's just, I don't know what it is. The Chiefs, they've been doing it. They were doing it all season long. They got into this Super Bowl because of that. They beat us twice because of that.
They get extra downs. It's just, there's no way around it.
Do-overs.
It's just a wild idea.
You just got to really, really beat them by a lot. So it's not even a close game, because if it's a close game, you're screwed.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the future Netflix miniseries on the collusion behind refs and reffing and what actually happened. It's going to be a bombshell miniseries.
Officiagate.
It's going to star Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. It's going to be amazing.
Matt Damon.
All right. OM Run, we'd love to see it for the Chargers, but we probably won't. But thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Zool420, who asked the question. Was that a holding call? Are you guys also considering boycotting the NFL if massive changes aren't made to officiating?
Well, I think it was a holding call. Like it was. It's just it was a bullshit ticky-tack one that they didn't call all game long. That's the problem.
Right.
There's no consistency in that shit at all.
Right. Yeah, you can defend yourself and he grabbed him a little bit. But like we've talked about, it's just that's every single play. So why are you going to call it there?
Right.
I'm not going to boycott the NFL. I love it too much. It just is what it is. Yeah. Chargers are too good to me.
Yeah. I can't imagine ever boycotting the NFL, but boy, does it make it less fun to see stuff like this. So,
but it makes it beating the Chiefs so much better. Next year when we beat them, it's going to feel even sweeter.
Yeah. God, I hope so.
No,
I hope I'm not saying that I hope so because I don't believe in the Chargers' abilities. I just hope so that the refs don't us in the last
they will try, but it's not
they're going to try.
Yeah,
they're going to try.
Have you ever seen that video? There's this guy dressed as like a proper English gentleman fighting two little guys in a ring. It was like an MMA fight in like Russia or something. That's what the Chargers are. We're the gentlemen fighting a team and the rest at the same time. And it looked like that guy won. That's a weird pull. Most of you haven't seen that.
That's a weird pull.
But that's the first thing my brain went to. So look it up. It's good.
Well, we know what's going on in Kevin's head, but
watching Russian fight videos.
Zool420, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Hangry Seth, who asked the question.
Hi. Me was wondering if you tired of the Chiefs too. I am. That's it. Me said, see you next week.
And Kyle, Hangry Seth is he's made a goal to ask a question every week up until, what was it? Was it the draft? I think it was the draft. Yes.
It might even be next season. I don't know.
He has a goal.
He had big goals.
Big goals. Big goals. Yeah. All right. We got a streak going here.
He's keeping the streak alive.
We got a streak going.
Yes, we're tired of the Chiefs.
Yeah. I feel like
stand them.
It's like how most people were tired of Tom Brady and the Patriots. Like that's kind of what they've stepped into that.
That's what they're walking into.
And what sucks is we play them twice a year. So it's not like the Patriots where we'd run into them in the playoffs or something. It's like we get these guys twice a year.
Hooligans.
Yes. Hangry Seth. I don't do a good Stitch voice either, but thank you for asking the question.
Thanks,
let's move on now to Mike Yeager, who asked the question. I'm interested in what the brisket broads do for a living. I'm a high school teacher and had to pretty much take out a second mortgage to go to one game. These ladies go to so many games, I need career advice. Also, hopefully that's not creepy or too intrusive.
Certified Fred.
Woo! Woo-hoo! All right. Well, apparently the broad saw your question.
I don't know how to answer that. Let's go to the ladies.
Let's go to the ladies.
Hello, friends.
Hi, guys.
Mike, that's a great question. Not at all creepy. Mary, how do you afford to go to these football games?
I'm a traveling embryologist. I make babies in petri dishes. So I travel to all these clinics around the country and make babies for people.
So Mary's a big girl with a big girl job, and I'm her friend.
Yeah.
So be homeless and have a good paying job that you accumulate hotel and flight points. And that's what will help you to be able to afford to go to all these football games.
Bye.
What the heck's happening? Brisket. Now I do have to edit this.
Insightful.
Very insightful.
I love the broads.
Off-season brisket broads with that high five, though.
That was awesome.
Come on, ladies.
Yeah, let's tighten it up. Let's tighten it up. let's act like there's a game on the line, please.
It's just nice that we got to have them back more often. This can't be a regular season only thing. So this is good.
No.
Thanks for kicking this started. Mike Jagger, is that something? Sure.
Kicking this started.
Let's kicking this started. Episode title.
Kicking this started.
That was like
thanks for kicking this started.
I don't know what happened. I felt like I was changing channels and somehow a sentence was made. Making change started.
Yeah.
Here we are. Kevin's not making babies in any petri dish.
No.
Not strong enough for that. Can't even put
God
this
help you
together.
No
if he
one
is.
wants any of this.
Nobody wants Kevin's baby.
No.
Except Josie. She's got four of them.
She said
boy.
enough.
She's calling it. Mike, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it. Let's move it on now to Boltzilla, who asked the question.
Holy jeez. How many mustache rides does it take to win a Super Bowl? Someone needs to ask Mahomes. Not that there's anything wrong with mustache rides. Mahomes just seems like the kind of guy who would like mustache tickling his butthole by Andy Reid from time to time. Hell, if it works, sign me up. We need one of those Lombardi trophies. My question, does the fact that Carr torched the Raiders from receiving any draft picks make you like him more? As much as I hate to admit it, that crybaby won some brownie points from me pulling that shit. Okay, love you, bye.
I love that. Their fans are so pissed because he didn't waive his like trade clause. So
yeah, he's like, no, I'm not gonna go. Sorry, you gotta cut me.
Right.
Set it
It's
on
like,
fire as he's leaving town.
He's just being more of a crybaby on his way out. Like the crybaby that we all know is now finally coming back to kick them.
And I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I kind of am on board with this. And what's going to be awesome is what if we flip it and we start posting about how awesome Carr is? All the Raider fans are going to start. The whole conversation is going to flip, and it's going to be meta and crazy. And
he sucks. He's a whiny baby. He can't complete any passes.
Right.
He's not that good. I'm like,
everything that we've been saying for years.
Welcome.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's pretty awesome for a guy to hold the trade clause to be like, no, I get to decide where I go. Looks around, he's like, I don't want to go anywhere.
No, nowhere that will help you.
Just let me go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they get nothing.
Nada.
You lose. Good day, sir. All right, Boltzilla, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Greg Farnan.
Yes.
God.
This is Australia Greg. I don't know if you remember his fan focus. He's super rad.
He is super rad. But he asks a question that goes like this.
G'day, CC and the Bolt Fam legends. First things first. Fuck the motherfucking Raiders, and as for Kermit Mahomes, well, he must be handing out wristies to the NFL, if you know what I'm saying. Question, is it just me, or is Kellen Moore TT smartest hire yet? Let's be honest, it's make or break for Staley this year, and if he breaks, it would be KM. Would KM be a good replacement? Just to be clear, I rate Staley and back him in. Love your work, fellas. Bolt up, and I'll see you in Vegas for the scripted bowl. Screw Kermit, FTR, K love you bye from Perth, Western Australia, Fonzie.
Awesome, dude.
I don't know what half of that meant, but
wristies, I think, are
that I got.
I can show you.
That's the part that we understood.
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
I don't know
I'll
what a
show you,
Farnsey is. I don't know what I rate Staley. I don't know if that was a typo or if that was a
He's got his back.
Staying.
He's got his back.
Okay.
I speak Australian.
Thank you. Well, what's Farnsey?
Well,
what did
that's his name.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh, so it is.
His signature.
Thanks for asking the question.
Sorry, Greg.
Dude.
Yes.
Sorry, Greg. Apparently, we understood all of it. No questions here.
All right. The question is Keelan Moore the smartest hire yet?
I hope so. That'd be awesome news. Honestly,
Yeah, it feels like a time will tell type of a situation when it's a hire that hasn't done anything yet.
Right.
On
paper, it certainly seems like
on paper, it's a great hire.
Yeah.
Everything around it seems to fit and make a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Just like watching that, the video where Kellen Moore broke down Justin Herbert plays and was like, I even mentioned it. He was like saying we and us when he's talking about it. It's just something about the guy that feels right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we got much of that from Lombardi. Didn't feel like that.
I don't think we had any videos
he was
from
giving
Lombardi.
that off. So
maybe had an interview with Haley, and that was about it.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Everything is. I get excited about pretty much everything that happens to the Chargers.
You're an excitable person.
So
yeah,
a little excited.
Yeah.
And then if Staley doesn't do great this year, would Kellen Moore be a good replacement?
I'm not ready. I don't know if he's a good offensive coordinator yet, so I can't say that even. Like, I'll start with that and then we'll go to there, but I don't know if that's the case. I'm not ready to look at getting rid of Staley yet. It's just not.
Yeah, I think that if he has a good enough year calling plays, I think our team is going to go far.
Yeah.
So I don't. If he does a good job, then Staley should keep his job. Whereas if he doesn't do a good job, why would we promote him to? And Staley loses his job, why would we want to promote him to that?
Sure,
job?
It's a win. It's a win-win kind of deal.
Yeah, it feels like they're a little bit handcuffed right now together.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure it was a more common thing in prior years, but I feel like in recent years, there's not been too many instances of promoting from within somebody that was a coordinator up into a head coaching position of the same team.
It's not by want; it's by need.
Right.
Just that's usually
it's like a mid-season. We fired him after a couple weeks.
Right.
Promoted.
Yeah. So
you bring in Jeff Saturday in. Wow.
Right. So I don't know that it would necessarily happen, but we'll cross that bridge when we come into.
Yeah. Let's just hope he calls some badass games. That's what I want. I want to see some scoring, doing what he did for the Cowboys and put it up 30 every game. Like I like that. I like. Yeah.
I like what he's saying.
Like where he's going with that.
Farnsey, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to House of Hain.
Nice.
Who asked the question? I say I, for one, will not be okay with letting go of 13. I say we need this offense to get it together, and I don't see any wide receiver in this draft class that can give us what 13 produces. What say you? Yeah, I don't want to let go of Mr. Allen. Not interested.
No, I don't want Keenan Allen gone at all. I don't think that's. You had to have a better long-term option. You knew you were going to be over the salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be. That's not the option. That wasn't like the let's push this out a year. What are we going to do next year? It couldn't be. We're going to cut Keenan Allen. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't see that happening.
No. Especially the way he played when he came in. Like we talked about this previously. It's like when you're injured and you're not play a full season, people are like, all right, well, we can move on. But you got to remember what he is and what he's capable of doing and how Justin relies on him. So he better not go anywhere.
Agreed. Yeah. We understand the idea of like, okay, well, who's hitting the cap the most? Okay, It's Keenan Allen. All right, well, what did he do for his last year? Well, he was hurt for most of it. All right, well, get his ass out of here.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nah, we're not.
Joey Bosa was also hurt for a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying
cut Joey too. So
believe it or not, a lot have. Yeah.
So we get it. I mean, it's off season, folks. Come on. He's not going anywhere. At least he shouldn't go anywhere.
If they know it, if the Chargers know it's good for him. Because I have this Giant signed jersey, and like, there'd be an empty place on my wall if he had to go somewhere else. I don't have time for that. Okay,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that.
So we're with you, House of Hain. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Herbert is my daddy, who asks the question. Man, I hate the Chiefs. That holding at the end was BS. I'm sick of everyone raving for Mahomes. I understand that he is very talented, but look how easy he has it. Every touchdown he threw into the Super Bowl was to players who were wide open. I mean, anyone could have thrown it to them. Enough about that. Something that stuck out to me after the game was that one of the touchdowns was to Tony, who they traded for halfway through the season, and another was to Moore, who was a later draft pick, who was a wide receiver 5 on the depth chart. My point is that they saw a potential weakness in their roster, addressed it by adding these players, and in the end, it paid off. The Chiefs were not willing to settle with what they had, and it turned into another Super Bowl win. As much as I hate to say it, there are many things such as this that the Chargers could learn from the Chiefs. I feel that teams such as the Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, and 49ers have a win at all cost mentality, something that I sense is missing from our front office. However, I do believe that Staley is beginning to change that culture. Do you guys agree? What is one thing that you would like to see done in the offseason that would make us a legitimate Super Bowl contender?
It's a good observation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, a head coach is not going to influence the GM and ownership as to what their direction is. You're down there on the totem pole. You don't have pull over ownership and GMs on what their strategy and their aggressiveness is going to be. I wish it did, but that's out of Coach Staley's pay grade. He's going to, with the guys that he's got, I'm sure he gets a little say like, hey, it'd be nice to have it. But when the trade deadline comes and goes and we don't do anything like we have for the last 400 years, it's just not like that's not going to change because of Coach Staley. So yeah, it is a bummer to watch these teams. Like if we had added like a tackle piece when Jamari goes down in that game against the Jags, you have another guy to pop in, and maybe that doesn't go down the way that it ended up going down. So yeah, there's a lot of speculation you go back and look at, and they go all in, man. It's obvious.
Yeah, it's something we would like to see. We know that, not every team has all the money in the world. We're already going into this offseason dealing with cap space issues. So, it can't just be like, well, what positions you play? Tackle? Let's get them. Yeah. It's like, I wish it was that easy. And, but it's not. So it's a lot of stacking the deck just right and having some room left over. So that's it during the midseason. If you needed to pick up a guy, you could. And I mean, this last season, I kind of thought we did have some opportunity to make some moves and spend some money. But I know that all these guys are going to have contracts that are going to need to get paid one way or another. I know Justin Herbert's going to need to get paid here big time pretty soon. So who knows? But it does suck to see guys get picked up and go to teams that seem to be more all in than we are.
But they do
That's
also
weird.
pick
I don't
up
like
Melvin
saying that.
Gordon's, and they don't do jack shit. So
right,
something to be said there. But in terms of the one thing you would like to see done in the offseason that would make us legitimate contender, honestly, I think it might have already happened. I think the new offensive coordinator getting this offense doing what it should be doing is going to change the whole dynamic. The offense will be on the field more. It'll help the defense more. They'll be more fresh. It's all going to be a domino effect that if this is it will spark everything else. We're not one speedy wide receiver away from winning all these games. We're not. We're the right decisions and the right play calls, I think, is where this flip needs to happen, especially because we were homering for Lombardi for a good portion of the season. After seeing that playoff game, all of those came to light in the worst possible way. So I think that could be it. And I think it might have already happened.
It's a good point. I mean, we were talking about Lombardi not necessarily utilizing the caliber of players that we had. And if Kellen Moore can utilize the players that we have, that could be a huge game changer as well. So I think it's a great answer. And I can't think of anything better than that. So
yeah, I'd like to see JC Jackson play some football. That'd be a cool upgrade for next season.
Hell yeah. Would love that.
He's already on the roster as well. So
hopefully his rehab goes well and we can hope to see him next year. But Herbert is my daddy. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Sherd, who asked the question.
How close should Herbert's contract get to Pat's? Oh.
Well, it's going to be more because that's just what happens every time somebody sets a benchmark. And then all the agents just go a little above the benchmark. So he benchmarked a few years ago. It's gonna be up there. He hasn't proven it yet. He got that Pat got that contract after he won a Super Bowl, but it's just
the MVP.
Just the nature of the way things are going. It's gonna be really freaking close if it doesn't top it. We're gonna have to pay him a lot of money.
I mean, well, that's the interesting question. Is like, if Herbert hasn't won a Super Bowl, and I'm not saying Herbert is, putting the whole team on his back to win a Super Bowl. It shouldn't be on his shoulders, but Pat's gotten to a Super Bowl, got the contract right after winning a Super Bowl. Should Herbert make as much money as Patrick Mahomes or more money than Patrick Mahomes? I think is more so the question. I mean, I don't know. I'm just posing it in that frame.
I want him to get paid, but
I want him to get paid too.
I prefer him not to get paid all of the money, so we can still have some other players on the team.
I don't. If you're looking at just like obviously what he's done on the field, Justin Herbert's never been in the top voting for the MVP. He's never won a Super Bowl. He's not even ever been an All-Pro. So it's not as if he's done what Patrick Mahomes has done. So if you're just going off of stats and wins, he shouldn't get paid as much as Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Will he get paid as much? Yes, because that's just the nature of contracts in the NFL.
Right.
Is that if Patrick Mahomes was a free agent this year, good God, can you imagine the amount of money he would make? Way more than whatever Justin would get.
Right. Yeah.
But because it's several years down the line now, everyone's getting paid more. So it's just the floor is way higher than when. And the ceiling is way higher than when Patrick Mahomes got his big payday.
Well, and the big difference between, because Patrick Mahomes is a hard guy to like make the benchmark because he's been so successful so early in his career. Justin is real close. He just doesn't have the playoff wins and doesn't have all the playoff appearances to speak for it, but he's got all the rookie first 3-year records. Like he is doing all of the statistical things you want from a quarterback. So I think of anyone that would get it out of all these other quarterbacks, I feel like he should be right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Sherd, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to CD, who asked the question. Do you feel like Sid from Toy Story got a bad rap? I did the same thing as a kid. He didn't know they were alive, And I mean, he ended up getting a city job with benefits and a great retirement plan. So I don't know. Maybe Sid wasn't so bad, Also, the Chiefs. All right.
Perfect off-season question.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know that a toy is alive, I'm sure you guys broke toys back in the day.
Yeah, but the level of assholeness he was to his little sister, who seemed really kind.
Sure.
That guy. Even though Kyle and I had 2 sisters.
I was going to say, you've probably done some pretty shitty things to Kyle.
I never took my little sister's toys and ripped their heads off. Like, I'm
chased
not
me around the house with a knife.
You're a boy. You can handle it. You're a little brother.
In a chest.
Brother relationships, sister relationships is different.
Yeah.
It's just different. So I never ripped their heads off or any of that shit. Like, to save that for Kyle.
I think Sid got a bad rap. I don't think it was all warranted, and I think he was maybe just a little kid being a kid.
Well, I have been watching this amazing show called Mind Hunters recently, and one of the things that how they catch serial killers is they look for this kind of stuff early on. Hurting toys, hurting animals. Who knows? We missed a huge gap between the toys and him being a garbage man. He might have hurt some animals. I'm just saying he's probably on a watch list.
Well, maybe the toys coming to life like put him on the straight and narrow and fixed his future.
Or it made him crazy and he started seeing things everywhere and started murdering people and getting away with it.
That doesn't sound very Pixar-y, Kev.
Stop watching Mindhunter, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Creepy outlook.
You're too deep.
Yeah.
Pull out.
No, I love this show. So
okay.
No.
I always wanted to do a short film where you did it from Sid's point of view, where it's like straight up horror movie. It's not like this fun Pixar thing. It's like literally, you think you're just, blowing shit up and they come alive. It'd be pretty scary. Like a live action version of that.
But would you sympathize with him because he's such a dick to his little sister?
I don't know if you put that in the short. If you want to be your
you want a biased short.
If you want him to be your protagonist, you need to build it. You kind of leave that out, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting line of thinking. But there you go, CD. We've got some mixed opinions on the qualities of Sid. But thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Athir Kadir. Who asked the question. I have an important question for Tuesday's show, please. The running back situation behind Eckler. Is it Spiller and Kelly? Or do you believe the Bolts draft running back in the first 2 rounds? Let me know. Okay, love you. Bye. FTR Bolts up 2023.
I don't think we're going to draft another. We've drafted a running back in the top 3 rounds like the last 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
It's clearly not. It's not like the thing. So no, we're definitely not drafting a running back in the first round. That's not going to be what happens. So
that's not the biggest position of need. No,
and
I don't think
first round running backs aren't always what they're cracked up to be most of the time.
Well, I don't know. It's just the position doesn't have the value that you need. Like there's a lot of guys. Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, insane, having an incredible season, won a Super Bowl, scored in a Super Bowl. You don't have to draft him in the first round to find good running backs,
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, I don't maybe they take another one late. I think that Spiller, Kelly is the running back room right now.
Mm-hmm.
Line back,
yeah. So yeah, and it would not surprise us if they just don't draft a running back at all this year, because it could be. I mean, we saw great things from Kelly, and Spiller while he was inactive a lot. Could be the year for him to come out and be the guy.
Well, and that's the Kellen Moore factor. What is it going to do with these guys? How does the running game change with him and his play calling and his schemes? That could drastically change this whole dynamic. I think we have two good running backs in Spiller and Kelly. One we know more than the other, and Eckler is just Eckler. So I feel pretty good about our running back room. I don't think we need to do too much in the offseason. I'm
with you. Athir Kadir, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Lexi M, who asked the question. Dadgummit! I hate that Mahomes and crew always finds a way to win in the last 2 minutes of the game. Honestly, I think I'm jealous. We just don't do it. But hey, maybe next year, right? Oh, I almost forgot to say, your King Boomy last week was amazing. Dead on, and I appreciate you putting so much effort into it. Question time. What is one place you would love to travel to that you haven't been to already? And number 2, do you guys have any pets? Thanks. Caleb, your pie.
I love King Candy. That's such a
good voice.
That was a good one,
yeah.
Dude. Well, thank you. All right. Well, great off-season questions yet again.
Yeah.
So a place you would love to travel to that you haven't been to already.
I always wanted to. It's a dangerous place. A lot of crazy shit there, but I always wanted to go to Australia. Would be kind of cool. Like giant spiders.
I did not think you were going to say Australia.
I did not either.
I don't know. It looks pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah. What's dangerous? Like the animals?
Yeah. There's animals there are on steroids. Like everything here, like on crack cocaine.
Yeah. The spiders are scary.
Like
spiders,
10 times
snakes.
bigger.
Yeah.
I think they have like the most like venomous animals per capita. Like in that whole concept.
So dangerous, but I like the way they talk, and I think it could be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good answer. I was gonna say
I'm gonna go hit up
well.
Farnsey. We're gonna go hang
hit
out.
up Farnsey.
Hang out with Farnsey. I love it. I would probably say I would love to go to Japan, man. I would love to go. They have so many. I see so many cool museums and fun little cultural things that they do there. They're so far ahead of the future. I would love to just go there and be a tourist and enjoy all the things that Japan and Tokyo and everything like that has to offer.
Nice.
What
about you, Kyle?
Good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say Australia as well. But I think we're gonna be going to the Bahamas potentially in October this year, and I've never been to the Bahamas, so that'll be cool.
So this will be a wish come to fruition.
Potentially granted. Yeah.
Yes.
So Kyle gets his Make-A-Wish finally.
Think so.
Our special boy.
Yeah.
All right. And then do you guys have any pets?
I have a pet. My son has a pet leopard gecko. So we have
we
used to have a dog. Dog passed away, rip Madden, but now we have Spot the gecko.
Nice.
He's our only
Spot
pet.
the gecko.
And I want no more pets. I have enough kids. I don't need pets.
Exactly. Pet. Yeah, exactly. I have one cat that I've had since my wife and I started dating. He's 20 years old almost. He's so old, and he's very like on edge. So the kids, like he'll go with the kids. So built in this really beautiful cat apartment. Got all the amenities. It's not really a death room or anything like that. It's got all the stuff. Got him all the beds. He's just
once he dies, it is.
Yeah.
I don't want him to die. Why are you saying that? He's just
that's
super
where he
old.
will die.
He's just super old.
Yeah.
Super old. And
he is an old boy.
He likes it back there. He
likes to be left alone.
He likes to be left alone. That's a nice way to say it.
And I have two cats. I have Alice and Betty,
Black
sisters.
Betty, Bam, Lamb.
Had them for about 5-6 years now. Can't remember.
Yeah.
Had them for a while, but they're a hoot and a holler.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, Lexi. Thank you for asking the question. And we go out of Ask Boltfam with Boltville 714, who asked the question.
Alfred, shut that shit up already. Nobody wants to see the Chiefs ceremony. And where the is Robin with my wings? This is worse than that time the Joker kicked me in the dick. Now I'm going to have to find the Penguin or some random Raider fan to defecate on from above before grabbing a few bottles of booze. Speaking of booze, if you can incorporate alcohol into any sport and force the players to compete hammered, which sport would it be? Anyways, gotta go. Can't love you, bye. Alfred, where the is that Robin with my wings? He must have friends.
Oh, that's a good one, Boltville.
All right.
What would be a near impossible sport to play while you're drunk?
I feel like pole vault would be a pretty tough one.
That would be dangerous.
That would be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be a tough one.
Yeah. Some hand-eye coordination, I think,
ping pong.
is imperative.
Ping pong might be kind of fun.
Ping pong or tennis? I was going to say tennis. Some
people
big
puking.
whiffs, just like spins, whiffs, puke going everywhere.
Yeah, it's one of those
I feel
sports.
Like drinking was made for curling, though. The Winter Olympics.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like that's just
a
that
drunk
would
person
be funny. I think it would
invented
just be
that, for
more
sure.
fun. Yeah,
I was going to say they might actually do better.
Got a rock, got some
probably.
ice. That person was drunk when they came up with that sport, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think if there's got to be a hidden gem here.
There has to be, right? Like there has to be something that just like, oh man. So like
darts,
drunk.
Nah, but I get better when I'm better at golfing when I'm drunk too. I'm much better at golfing when I'm drunk. So that would be the best game for it, I think.
Yeah.
Something dangerous, something really dangerous.
Something dangerous.
That if you were drunk, you probably could die.
Javelin.
Kyle's going with all the Olympic sports.
It's all track and field.
Track and field, dangerous, like
sure.
Old Roman
bull
sports.
riding.
Yeah,
ooh, bull riding would be interesting.
Bull riding would be bad. Okay, I'll go bull riding. That would be bad. That'd be real bad.
That'd be bad. I think, what are we going for? People dying or the sport gets better?
I'm just looking for a funny time. Like I just want to point and laugh at somebody that's drunk. So laugh. All right. Well, what do you folks think? What would be a good sport with some alcohol involved in? Let us know. I'm sure there's one that's just dangling out there in front of our faces. That's like,
right there, yeah.
as soon as somebody says it, we're going to be like, that was it. That was what we were trying to think of. But let us know down in the comments. Boltville 714.
I mean, no.
Oh, there you go.
No.
Boltville 714. Thank you for asking the question, and thank you everybody for asking questions and Ask Bolt Fam. We really appreciate it. But that I think is going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Kevin, you want to kick in this started?
Let's kick this started. All right. Stupid.
All right.
Kicking
well, that's
this
going to do it
started.
for us here at Charger Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any place, any squad.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
When you're stranded and your car battery dies, what do? Jump start it? Call AAA? Or do you kick that son of a bitch? Introducing Kickin' This Started. Kickin' This Started is the only car battery that takes the energy of a kick to jumpstart your car.
Come on.
So go ahead, get it all out so you can get home. Kickin' This Started. The know you name, the trust you brand.